Now excited to be joined by a very special guest. It is Josh Snead, the face of SEC Shorts. Josh, did you know that you are the second most popular video, not on your YouTube channel, obviously, but on our YouTube channel, like the SDS YouTube? Do you have any idea what that video could possibly be?
So it's an SDS video, like you guys made it?
It is an SDS original. It is not just ripping off one of your videos and us reacting to it and doing the things that everybody does on the internet now.
Yeah. I did something with Marler. Is it something like that?
Yeah, I I think if you could really go back into the archives, you would remember that it was the 2018 SEC Media Days, and you and Marler did a roast of every SEC team just off the cuff, and it has lived on. So, I
Oh,
mean,
nice.
you did something extremely well. Things have gone very well for you since then. I looked at your most popular SEC Shorts video just a little comparison, and Texas being voted or Texas like wanting out of the SEC before it even joined is the most popular one with like 1.2 million views. Probably just a little bit of a different feel now. Do you have like Texas fans that are in on the joke, and are they aware that they're about to get made fun of by you on a weekly basis, even if they win a national title?
So it's been a little bit of both. So it's been there are some that already knew who we were and they're like now excited to be part of like the video every week or more frequently. And there are some Texas and Oklahoma fans who have just come across us for the first time with us like making fun of them, and they don't know who we are. They just think we're like randos that have just decided to start making fun of their teams, and they hate us. So the comment section, they think the people in our videos are like our family, and they're like, to put your kids in these videos to just insult our football team is pathetic. I'm like, no, that's a kid actor, and we paid her, so. Maybe you're right. We are.
One thing that they will learn though is like SEC fan bases, and the thing that you have done such a great job of tapping into is that SEC fan bases hate each other more than they like their own team. And that's the beauty of what you guys do is if everybody is able to be made fun of, then that's kind of the entire point. I want to dig into the roots of SEC shorts because what you guys do is so incredibly unique and challenging with being able to have topical videos that come out on a Monday morning. That's such a staple of now just SEC culture. And having that come out on a Monday morning when, you're not just iPhone with time, which is all anybody needs to post on YouTube now. You guys have like actual production and, like a plan that goes into this. Take me back into like how this idea started for you guys to start doing this.
Yeah, so it started for us with when the SEC network formed, and we had been doing uh, like an Auburn, Alabama show on like a cable access channel, and we were like, okay, we can do something. Surely we can come up with something that they'd be willing to put on air on the SEC network, and about that time, they put Feinbaum. Feinbaum was on the SEC network for like 6 hours a day or something like it was something crazy. So he needed to fill time, and so he was taking fan rants from fans, and they were doing the same thing. They were just had their phones up to their face, like you couldn't even see their whole face. It's just their eyeball, and they're like, "Oh!" just screaming into the phone. And no shirts. Never even took the time to put a shirt on. And so we were like, the bar seems pretty low here, fellas. I think we can get on TV. So we put together like a polished sketch that was basically, at the time, Alabama was there was like a quarterback controversy with Jake Coker and Blake Sims. And like a typical Alabama fan, in the summertime, they were like, this Jake Coker kid is going to light it up. And then the season started, and Blake Sims was playing instead of him, and he was doing great. So then Alabama fans were like, well, yeah, of course he is. Everybody knew Blake Sims was going to be great. So that was kind of like the point of the video. And Paul like talked about it on the show. He had me call in, and he interviewed me on the radio, and everybody I worked with was like freaking out. And I was like, should I get an agent? Should I move to LA now? I've already asked my dad to be in my entourage, so I guess I have to do that now. Um, uh, so they asked us to keep making the videos, and we did every week for a year. As you know, any good business model is give away your product for free for a year. And at the end of that, people were looking forward to the videos. People that approached us to like actually pay us to do it, and so it kind of slowly became our job after that.
What's the
That was,
production
that was
process?
10 years ago. That was 10 years. This is our 10th year.
God, that's crazy to think about because man, I feel like I've been watching those videos for so long, and I went back and watched some of the older ones today, and just like kind of brought me back to that place and seeing that rise. I mean, it's truly remarkable to think about where
Was
you
your
guys started.
was the first thing you thought of like Josh's face was really fat back then? Because that's all I can think of is like, wow, my face like contracts and expands each year. And luckily it's logged on YouTube for forever. So I can just go back and see my weight fluctuate back and forth for a whole decade. It's real exciting.
I think it's more like the first thing I noticed is like how quickly the production changes. Like, and you guys were doing really good production early on. It wasn't just, like people just sitting there iPhone looking at just
Yeah.
their eyes. But
Yeah.
like I noticed like the improvements and like how smooth everything has become. And the fact that like you look at your videos now and you talk about trying to get, people to advertise and stuff like that, because ultimately that's how you monetize it. You guys
Mhm.
got freaking Kirk Herbstreit doing ads for you guys at the end of all of these. Like, how
Yeah.
surreal is it to think about where you guys started, where you were even poking fun at yourself of like, we're not credentialed to SEC Media Days. Here's an
Yeah.
uncredentialed look to now being at that place where the biggest name in college football is working with you guys.
Yeah, it's really cool. We did a presentation yesterday, just at like a corporate thing, about like the early years and where we're at now. So we've actually had to sit down and think about it. It is very surreal. It goes by. It feels like it goes by so fast, and we've been doing it for a decade now. And I could just remember being happy to like we would take pictures of ourselves on Feinbaum and like, oh, we're on TV. This is great. And now, we've done commercials with Herb Street. And we've been on like Game Day and the SEC Nation and all that stuff. And when it's happening, you're thinking, oh, okay, this is a great for whatever we want to do next. But then you think about like we would have never thought that we'd be on Game Day when we started it. We were just kind of wanted to do something that we enjoyed doing creatively, and it's turned into whatever it is now. And it's been really, really cool.
Take me through that production process because I don't think the average person at home like realizes how crazy your turnaround is to be able to get on location, to do all those different things that you guys do, to have, some sort of a script played out. I don't know how much of it is improv, how much of it is scripted, to be able to edit it and then to have it out Monday morning like that quickly. I got to imagine you guys work pretty much around the clock, like, even from Saturday, once you get an idea into Sunday, and then Sunday is just pretty much like you just go until you finish.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think our production is why no one else does it the way we do it, is because it's a lot to take on. And if you want to do it like once or twice a year, that's one thing, but we have to do it 25 times a year. And that's what's kind of really difficult about it, but also kind of rewarding when you pull it off right. So we watch all the games. Saturday, we'll kick a couple ideas around like possibilities, but you never know what's going to happen after the games. Like news could break, something could happen. And so if you come up with your idea too early on a Saturday and commit to it, some a coach might get fired that night after the game, or a player may say something, or something may happen in the news, and then you got to start over from scratch. So we'll kick around a few ideas while their games are going. Robert and I'll text back and forth, and then we don't pick an idea until Sunday morning when we meet. And then so that's around like 9 o'clock or so. And then we bat around ideas, we pick one, and then you just have to go all in. So we split up, and Robert will start writing a script, and I'll start like getting all the equipment together, calling actors, trying to get a location. Um, then we both will start, trying to put like props together and wardrobe, and you have essentially 15 hours to come up with an idea, write a script, find actors, find a location, go to the location, undo, like unload all the, you have to pick up the gear, unload all the gear, set it up, film, break everything down. Robert leaves to go edit, and then 8 a.m. it has to be up. So we've got like 15 hours to do all of that. And it's an insane thing to do 25 times in a row. So it's a lot, but and sometimes you know, going in like this isn't a very good idea. Like this is probably not going to be very funny, but you've already committed and something has to be up at 8 a.m. on Monday. So you just have to try to fix it. And so sometimes there is some improv while we're shooting. Sometimes there's some rewriting, moving stuff around, but very few times have we been like, this is so terrible. We have to just start over at like 10 o'clock at night and just accept the fact that we're going to have to just keep going until 8 a.m. in the morning. And um, it has to be really bad because a lot of times we're just like, well, people are just going to have to think we're not funny this week because we don't have it in us. But yeah.
Okay, what was the bad idea? There's one that stands out in
Oh,
your
there's
mind
been
where like
several.
we scrapped
So,
it.
oh, there's been several. Oh, so it was, this is now was probably a long time ago, like at least 7 years ago or longer, maybe. Yeah. But it was an idea. Auburn was getting visited by the ghost of football past. And the the effects we were using, it looked so terrible. And it wasn't funny, and like the way we were doing it, we're because in a day you can't just like pull off whatever you can dream of. Whatever you think of has to be something that's possible to produce in a day. So I can't remember what our ideas were, but the jokes were bad. The setups were terrible. I think the premise was funny, but it just and the effects looked bad. It was just all terrible. So we were like it was late at night and we were like, this is awful. Like we can't we can't do this. We bailed and like ended up doing something easier. I think it was some sort of talk show idea or something. But I think even then you can see in the video like there's just bags under my eyes. I'm just like barely performing, and it's just because you got to turn in something. So uh,
It speaks to your ability, though, that even the ideas that you probably don't feel particularly good about still make the rounds always. And it's still like, oh God, like look what they did. Like literally every Monday, we always have an SEC short story on Saturday Down South, just because you guys, your hit rate is so unbelievably high. I imagine, like Lane shares your stuff or going on Feinbaum, some of these surreal experiences. What's like the one that kind of stands out where you're like, this is kind of a pinch myself type moment that they shared our content?
Bubba Sparks for sure.
There we go.
I
Okay.
was like, I did, I thought that was Marjorie Taylor Greene had shared.
All right.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I think for us, like a pinch me moment was getting to work with Steve Spurrier. We both like him a lot. Like we both think he's hilarious. And so we did this video for SEC Network. It was like their 5 year anniversary. And so they asked us to do a video. And so we're um, we had more access to coaches and stuff that we would normally do, and we had time to actually like write something and produce it over several weeks. So we got Gus Malzahn to do. He was the coach at Auburn at the time, to do a Bachelor parody where he was searching for his new quarterback, and instead of a rose, he was giving out a quarterback
I remember.
wristband. And just the fact that he agreed to do it, we were like, this is amazing. Like, why did he say yes? We could not figure out. It turns out like his wife was a big Bachelor fan and she had been making him watch it. So when we pitched the idea, he was like, oh, absolutely, I'll do it. Uh, and so we got really lucky, and he was really nice and he went along with all the jokes and he was really cool. And then also part of that video, we had uh, we had Spurrier as like an analyst for college games on TV. And our joke was that he just spent the whole time making fun of Tennessee because he has all these like famous like quotes about making fun of Tennessee. And so we get to the recording. It was like during media days or something. And Tom Hart's there to be his like play-by-play guy. And we have a whole green screen set up. And Spurrier gets there and he's holding the script in his hand, and which was just filled with Tennessee jokes. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to say any of this." And we were like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, yeah, Tennessee's my third favorite team." And we were like, "What? Who has a third favorite team?" And also, making fun of Tennessee is what you do for fun in your spare time. And so he was like, "Don't worry though, I got you something. I got you something." And so we just hit record, and he was like, "Yeah, looking forward to what Tennessee's got out there today. Think they got a real good team." We were like, that's the opposite of what we wanted, but we were just so happy to be in the same room with him. We were like, thanks, Steve. And he left and we didn't use it. It never aired. And Archie Manning ended up recording that same bit. And but it was like a different joke. It wasn't making fun of Tennessee. It was like Tom Hart had a joke about watching Tua play, and he's like, I've never seen anyone throw and run like this ever before. And Archie was like, are you serious? I mean, he's like, took it as a joke. Anyway, Archie saved us. He was great. And we never used the Spurrier thing, but we were just so happy to have like even done anything with him that we still look at it fondly, I guess.
That's incredible. And Spurrier, like just pulling a total 180 at the last minute, just had to throw you off
Oh,
in every
here's
way.
my favorite. Yeah, here's my favorite part. The next day, because he was there for media day coverage, because they had just done like the documentary, and the next day, someone at media days asked him about Tennessee, and he rattled for like 5 minutes on like they're terrible. Of course, they're not. And we're like, why? Why, Steve? Why us? It's because he had never heard of us, I'm sure, and was like, why do I care about making jokes for these guys? Like, who cares? Like he didn't want to take the risk. He wants to, I think the way Alyssa Lang described it to us, because after he left, we were like, what happened? I don't know what she was like. Well, he wants to do it on his own. He doesn't want you to like make the jokes for him.
He knows the audience he controls, how that
Yeah.
always goes.
I mean, and in his defense, he's won a national championship, and we are two dorks from the internet, like, make a joke for us, Steve. So,
Okay, so I gotta imagine there's also been the one where like somebody's giving you a call, somebody's giving you a call of like, hey, you guys crossed the line or something like that, or like somebody behind closed doors was like, can you guys like be like take it easy on this or something like that? Which is
yeah.
there a story like that that stands out?
Oh yeah, for sure. So we for 4 years we worked for ESPN, and we would do separate sketches during the middle of the week for SEC Nation that would air Saturday morning during their show. And we had a video one year that was it was a meeting for a support group for all the bad teams in the SEC. So you go around the circle, it's just the five terrible teams, and they're just talking positively about like how they're gonna, get better. And so it aired, and every athletic director or whatever who had a team in that video called the conference, who in which called the network to say, why would you guys air this? This is terrible. Like, they said stuff like this will affect recruiting. Like 18-year-olds are watching SEC Nation at 8 a.m. Like, well, I wasn't sure until now, but since SEC Shorts made fun of, Tennessee or whoever. But yeah, they were all very upset. Another one was we made another video for ESPN where Kentucky was having like this great year. I can't remember.
2018?
18, yes. And so we were making all these like positive Kentucky football videos, which was very hard for us. We didn't even have the Kentucky gear, I don't think at the time. We had to go buy stuff. And but it was very exciting because you're always happy for a team that's doing like their fans are like through the roof because they're about to win 10 games and that's never happened. And they're just like super excited. So we're happy to be making all these videos. So we make one that's like Kentucky's a football school, and now their basketball team, it was a commercial uh, to like raise money for the basketball team because they're a football school now. So it's the basketball players doing car washes, asking for like donations. And, we just found the two tallest people we knew. And, they're just like holding up signs and doing. And so it aired on TV, and ESPN cleared it and they were fine with it. But Mark Stoops saw it and was like, how could you do this to us? And they were like, what do you mean? And apparently, I guess the football and basketball departments didn't get along great at the time, so he wasn't super pumped about it. But I'm sure it's fine now. Cal's gone, and he's Stoops is doing great, so I'm sure it's all fine now. This was like years and years ago. So
Sensitive subject to this day, very
yeah.
much. Josh, last one for you. What's the future of SEC shorts? Can we get like SEC longs, just like 20-minute feature films? I'm not like just in the off season because obviously like your workload during the season is crazy and you talk about the turnaround, but like 20-minute feature films, SEC longs, I like Those numbers would be insane.
Uh, um, that would be interesting. That would be fun. I think we pitched an idea to SEC Network early on to let us have like a kickoff show before the season starts that would have a bunch of like a Key and Peele situation where it's a bunch of different sketches pushed all in to one show. We wanted to make it kind of like a variety show where you would have like sketches, we'd have Hannah sing a song and do a bunch of different stuff like that. And they were not interested, but so we've turned that idea into a live show that we do throughout the year, sometimes in the off season. But this year we're doing two in the fall. So we're gonna announce those here pretty quick. So that's what we do now. We kind of when we're not making videos, we like to do these live shows. So I hope everybody gets a chance to make it out to one. So in this fall, they're going to be Fridays before games. We're going to do some for a couple different towns and stuff before big games. But it's just an hour and a half of sketches. We do audience games. Hannah sings a song that we wrote. There's stand up, there's all kinds of stuff in it. So it's like a old timey like vaudeville variety show, but but for college football and written specifically for your team.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I remember you guys did one in College Station last year.
We did. That
Yeah.
was awesome. College Station is crazy. Their fans are insane. The traditions they have there, just the ones you know about now on the surface, you're like, that's kind of weird. Then you get there and it's 1,000 times weirder than you think, but they're so great. They're so sweet and like they're excited to be a part of, SEC shorts making fun of them and they're good sports about the jokes. And it was a really fun, amazing experience for sure.
Texas
And
and
if you ever get a chance to go to Midnight Yell, please go. I'm sure you been?
I have not been. That's on my bucket list. I need to be able to get out there one day.
It's it's insane. You're nothing prepares you to see what you will see. And what everyone sees are the stuff that's out now, like the Yell leaders doing their I forget what they call it. It's like a monologue, but I don't know if they call it a monologue or not, but that's what everyone sees, the little 5-minute clips of them telling like corny jokes. But the Midnight Yell is like it's like an hour or two long. And there's the most insane stuff you've ever seen going on all around you all at once. You just have to go. You have to see it to believe it. It's insane.
The
And
unique traditions in this conference, man, never ceases to amaze.
oh, while we were there and we're at College Station, we're at Midnight Yell, we got to like stand on the field to watch all the stuff going on. And this one guy is taking us around. Someone introduced us to him and they're like, he's gonna host you for tonight. So he's walking us around on the field to places where like people shouldn't be, like in the stuff. And we're like, who is this? He was an astronaut. And no one was like, hey, this astronaut's gonna show you around. He's been on the moon, by the way. He never mentioned it. No one ever said anything. We had to look him up after because we were like, who was this guy? He was great. And was an astronaut. He was just like, Texas State, like just never came up that he had been to the moon. If I have been to the moon, it would be the only thing I talked about to anyone ever. But this guy loves Aggie football so much that he just never even thought to like, yeah, I've been to this reminds me of being on the moon. Like I would work it into every conversation I had, and he's just like never brought it up.
Hi, nice to meet you, Josh Snead. I went to the moon.
Yeah, you may recognize me from the moon. Oh, you've never been there? That's crazy.
You know that thing that comes out every single night, the moon. You've probably seen it before. I've been there. No big deal.
I've walked on it,
Yeah,
so I don't
just,
know.
just
It's kind of a
casual.
space mechanic for a while.
No big deal. Josh, this is awesome, man. Really appreciate the time. Hopefully, I'm gonna get to see you at some point here. You're gonna be in Dallas for SEC Media Days.
No, so the only media days we've been to were the ones where they wouldn't let us into for fun. Other than that, we're making a video this Sunday that we'll post, I think, July 8th, Monday morning. That's going to be like a Texas, Oklahoma being welcome to the SEC video. Then we're going to do another couple off-season stuff, and then get cranking for the season. So we're excited.
I'll be here before we know it. Josh, great stuff, man. We'll do it again sometime.
All right, thanks.